Helena was a woman with a generous heart, known for her kindness and compassion. White, with blonde hair and blue eyes, she lived a peaceful life, but always felt that something was missing in her journey. After many reflections and conversations with close friends, Helena decided that she wanted to adopt a child, not only to fill the void I felt, but also to offer an opportunity for a better life to someone who needed love and care. It was on a visit to a local orphanage that Helena found Samuel, a black baby with bright eyes and a contagious smile. As soon as their eyes met, Helena felt an immediate and inexplicable connection. She knew at that moment that Samuel was destined to be her son. The decision to adopt him was made with a heart full of love and a mind determined to provide him with a home full of affection, security, and opportunities. Samuel, still a baby, was oblivious to what the future held, but Helena was determined to ensure that he grew up surrounded by love and understanding. Helena's decision was not just an act of charity. It was a lifelong commitment. She knew that raising Samuel would not just be about love, but also about teaching him to be proud of his identity and cultural heritage, something she was committed to learning and celebrating with him. Samuel's adoption was an emotional and transformative process for Helena. Each step, from paperwork to supervised visits, only reinforced her desire to be his mother. When she finally took him home, Helena was determined to create an environment where Samuel felt loved and valued, regardless of any cultural or racial barriers. She began reading about African-descended culture and educating herself about the challenges that could arise when raising a black child as a white mother. Samuel's arrival brought new life to Helena's house. The sound of children's laughter echoed through the hallways, and the joy of having a child was visible in every corner of the house. Helena dedicated herself to creating moments of joy and learning for Samuel, from little adventures in the park to bedtime stories that celebrated different cultures. She wanted Samuel to grow up with a broad understanding of the world, knowing that love and kindness transcend any superficial differences. Helena also prepared herself for the challenges that could arise. She knew that society would not always be kind to her family due to the difference in race. For Helena, preparation included not only being ready to educate Samuel about these challenges, but also equipping him with the confidence and resilience needed to face them. She attended support groups for adoptive parents and sought guidance from experts to ensure she was providing the best environment possible for Samuel. As time passed, the bond between Helena and Samuel grew stronger. Helena taught him about the different facets of life, from the importance of honesty to the beauty of accepting and respecting others' differences. She made sure Samuel had access to positive black role models, including family friends and public figures, so he could grow up with a sense of pride in his identity. Samuel's introduction into Helena's life was more than a simple act of adoption. It was the beginning of a journey of love, learning, and mutual growth. Helena knew that the journey would not always be easy, but she was committed to every step. She hoped that through her love and guidance, Samuel would grow up knowing that he was deeply loved and that despite their differences in skin color, they were a true, unbreakable family. In the first years of Samuel's life, Helena's house became a true refuge of love and happiness. Every corner of the house reflected the joy of a new life, with toys scattered around and photos of special moments. Helena dedicated herself to creating an environment full of family activities, which ranged from walks in the park to afternoons of art and music. The house was always full of laughter, especially in the moments when Samuel discovered something new, like his first shower or the excitement of putting together a puzzle. Helena made a point of involving Samuel in a variety of enriching experiences. They attended museums, cultural exhibitions, and local festivals, always seeking to expand Samuel's horizon. On her travels, Helena introduced Samuel to different cultures and traditions, promoting an education that went beyond books. Each trip was a learning opportunity, and Helena always found a way to include elements of Afro-descendant culture, helping Samuel connect with his roots in an organic and meaningful way. Samuel's education was not restricted to external adventures. At home, Helena made sure that Samuel had access to books and films that represented different cultures and stories. She read him stories about Afro-descendant heroes, showing him that he could also be a great hero on his own journey. These reading times were not just for entertainment. but also to strengthen Samuel's identity, teaching him to be proud of who he was and where he came from. Helena knew that raising a black child in a predominantly white society required more than just love and care. She worked hard to build a support network that included friends, neighbors, and diverse communities that could offer Samuel a rich and varied view of the world. This network not only provided a sense of belonging, but also ensured that Samuel had positive black role models in his life, reinforcing the idea that he could be anything he wanted to be. Samuel, in turn, flourished in this loving and inclusive environment. He was a curious and energetic child, always ready to learn something new or make a new discovery. Helena encouraged this curiosity, always available to answer questions and participate in their adventures. She firmly believed that Samuel's education was a shared responsibility that included learning from life and the people around him. Despite all the love and support, Helena was also preparing herself for the challenges that could arise as Samuel grew up. She was aware that, as a white mother of a black son, she would need to be aware of the issues of racial identity and discrimination that Samuel might face. To do this, Helena sought guidance and support from experts and other families in similar situations, ensuring she was equipped to deal with these issues in a sensitive and informed way. The relationship between Helena and Samuel was based on mutual respect and understanding. Helena was always open and honest with Samuel about her adoption and the cultural differences between them. She believed that transparency was fundamental to building a solid foundation of trust. This approach allowed Samuel to feel comfortable expressing his own doubts and feelings, knowing that he would always be heard and supported. Looking back on Samuel's early years, Helena knew she was creating a solid foundation for his future. She was determined to continue providing an environment of acceptance, love, and respect where Samuel could grow into a confident young man proud of his identity. Samuel's story wasn't just about an adopted child. It was about building a family that, despite differences, was united by love and a commitment to supporting each other at every stage of life. During Samuel's adolescence, the challenges began to intensify. He began to notice more clearly the differences in skin color between himself and his adoptive mother, Helena. This period was marked by internal questions about his racial identity and how he fit into the world around him. The difference in skin color between them was not just a visual issue, but also a point of reflection on the different experiences that each one faced in society. Samuel began to notice curious and, at times, prejudiced looks when he was in public with Helena. At school, he faced uncomfortable questions from classmates who questioned his origins and why he, a black boy, had a white mother. Sometimes, these questions were filled with ignorance and prejudice, which had a significant emotional impact on Samuel. He felt torn between his love for Helena and his need to understand and affirm his own racial identity. Helena, noticing the increase in tension and the challenges faced by Samuel, knew she needed to act to support her son. She began seeking guidance from books, support groups for adoptive parents, and experts on racial issues. Helena wanted to ensure she was equipped to help Samuel navigate these challenges and develop healthy self-esteem. She understood that, in addition to love, it was essential to offer Samuel the tools and knowledge necessary to deal with racism and discrimination. Conversations at home became deeper and more frequent. Helena encouraged Samuel to express his feelings and doubts, creating a safe space for him to discuss his experiences. They talked about Afro-descendant history, the importance of understanding their roots, and the impact of racism on society. Helena made a point of reinforcing that Samuel was very proud of his cultural heritage and that he was more than capable of facing the challenges that came his way. At the same time, Helena and Samuel participated in cultural events and activities that celebrated diversity and Afro-descendant culture. These experiences were fundamental for Samuel to see positive representations of his identity and find a supportive community. Helena knew it was crucial for Samuel to see and interact with people who shared his experiences and who could offer support and guidance. Despite all his efforts, Samuel still faced difficult times. At school, he dealt with cases of direct and indirect discrimination, from offensive comments to exclusionary attitudes on the part of some classmates. These episodes left Samuel frustrated and, at times, isolated. Helena continued to be his pillar of support, helping him process these moments and understand that the prejudices of others do not define his worth or capabilities. Helena also had to face her own challenges and learnings. As a white woman, she recognized that she had a lot to learn about Samuel's unique experiences as a young black man. She committed to being an active ally, not only in Samuel's life, but also in the fight against racism more broadly. This meant being willing to listen, learn, and, when necessary, speak up in defense of Samuel and the black community. These years were transformative for both. Helena and Samuel developed a deeper understanding of each other and the complexity of racial identity. They learned that while love and support are fundamental, it is also crucial to recognize and respect the differences that exist, and that these differences enrich both of their lives and experiences. This challenging phase strengthened their bond and prepared them to face the future together, armed with knowledge, understanding, and deep mutual respect. As Samuel and Helena faced challenges arising from racial and cultural issues, Helena made a conscious decision to proactively educate herself and her son about these issues. She understood that, as a white adoptive mother of a black son, she needed to be prepared to deal with the complexities surrounding Samuel's racial identity. With this in mind, Helena enrolled in support groups for adoptive parents and began attending workshops and seminars focused on transracial adoption and cultural inclusion. These groups and activities provided Helena with a deeper understanding of the challenges Samuel might face, as well as strategies to support him effectively. She also began reading a variety of books and articles on Afro-descendant history and culture, seeking to understand the experiences and struggles of the black community over the years. This knowledge not only helped her be a more informed mother, but also sensitized her to the nuances of racial identity and the impacts of structural racism. Helena and Samuel began to get involved in activities that celebrated Afro-descendant culture. They attended cultural events, such as music festivals, art exhibitions, and book fairs, where they could appreciate and learn more about the contributions of the black community. These experiences were fundamental for Samuel, as they provided a direct connection with his cultural heritage and reinforced his identity. He began to feel a growing pride in his roots, understanding that his skin color was part of a rich history and tradition. One of the most impactful initiatives was participation in community groups dedicated to valuing Afro-descendant culture. Helena encouraged Samuel to get involved in these activities, where he could meet other young black people and share experiences. These encounters not only provided a safe space for Samuel to explore his identity, but they also connected him with positive mentors and role models who showed him that he could achieve anything he set his mind to, no matter the barriers he faced. At home, Helena and Samuel openly discussed Samuel's experiences and how he felt about his racial identity. Helena always emphasized the importance of Samuel being true to himself and not letting himself be defined by the expectations or prejudices of others. She also encouraged Samuel to express his feelings and concerns, ensuring he knew he could always count on her unconditional support. Helena took care to ensure that Samuel had access to a variety of positive representations of black people in books, films, and other media. She understood that it was essential for Samuel to see people who looked like him in roles of leadership, creativity, and success. This helped him build a positive and strong image of his own identity, giving him the confidence to face challenges head-on. Furthermore, Helena sought to create a support network made up of other families facing similar challenges. This community of adoptive parents and experts provided a space to share experiences, exchange advice, and provide emotional support. The meetings and open discussions helped Helena feel less isolated on her journey and provided new perspectives on how to deal with sensitive issues of race and identity. These joint experiences and learning strengthened the bond between Helena and Samuel. They both grew from these experiences, learning to appreciate and celebrate the differences that made them unique. Helena became an active advocate for inclusion and equality, while Samuel grew up confident in his identity, knowing he was loved and supported by his mother and the community around him. This phase of support and education was crucial in preparing them for the future challenges and triumphs they would encounter on their journey together. In the community where Helena and Samuel lived, diversity was evident, reflecting a rich mix of cultures and life experiences. However, Samuel's presence as a black child adopted by a white mother did not go unnoticed. eliciting a variety of reactions from neighbors and acquaintances. While some community members offered warm support and acceptance, others displayed prejudice and ignorance, challenging the family in unexpected ways. Helena, always proactive and determined to protect and support Samuel, realized the importance of building a solid support network. She began attending meetings of local groups dedicated to diversity and inclusion, seeking to connect with other families and individuals who shared her values. These meetings provided a space to share experiences, discuss common challenges, and celebrate achievements, creating an environment where Samuel felt part of a larger, welcoming community. At the same time, Helena had to face the reality that not everyone in the community was welcoming to her family. There were times when Samuel faced disapproving looks or insensitive comments from other children and even some adults. These moments were painful for both Samuel and Helena, who tried hard to protect him from these negative experiences. However, she knew that she could not shield him from all difficulties, and instead worked to equip him with the emotional tools necessary to deal with these situations in a constructive way. To combat ignorance and prejudice, Helena actively engaged in awareness campaigns in the community. She organized cultural events and talks about inclusion and diversity, inviting community members to learn about and openly discuss these topics. These events not only helped educate the community, but also provided Samuel with a space to see his culture celebrated and respected. He felt proud to participate in these activities, realizing the positive impact he and his mother were making. Furthermore, Helena made a point of involving Samuel in extracurricular activities and sports, where he could interact with other children and develop his social skills. She encouraged him to get involved in school clubs and community groups, ensuring he had a diverse and supportive network of friends. These environments provided Samuel with opportunities to grow and assert himself, strengthening his self-confidence and resilience in the face of challenges. The positive response from many community members was also a great relief for Helena. Several neighbors and friends showed unwavering support, offering help and becoming positive mentors and role models for Samuel. They recognized the importance of providing Samuel with an environment where he could feel safe and valued. Helena deeply valued these relationships, knowing that a supportive community was essential to Samuel's emotional and social well-being. However, Helena was also faced with the need to deal with more subtle and implicit biases. She had to take a firm stance against discriminatory behavior, educating people about the importance of respecting all cultures and identities. This work, although challenging, was necessary to ensure that Samuel grew up in an environment where mutual respect was the norm. Helena was tireless in her effort to promote an inclusive environment, believing that every action, no matter how small, contributed to a better world. In the end, the experience of living in a diverse community taught Helena and Samuel valuable lessons about acceptance, resilience, and the power of education. Helena continued to cultivate an environment of support and respect, working to ensure Samuel felt loved and appreciated for who he was. Samuel, in turn, learned to navigate a complex society, finding strength in his identity and the support of his mother and community. Together, they showed that, despite the challenges, it is possible to build a rich and fulfilling life, rooted in love and mutual respect. One day, while Samuel was at home, he decided to explore a box of old photos that Helena kept in the attic. While sifting through the images, he came across a photograph from his childhood that immediately captured his attention. In the image, Samuel, still a little boy, was sitting on Helena's lap, with a big smile on his face, while she hugged him affectionately. The photograph was a little faded with time, but the happiness and love it conveyed were undeniable. Holding the photograph, Samuel was flooded with a wave of memories. He remembered the many afternoons spent in the park, where he and Helena would run around or play ball. He remembered the stories that Helena told him before bed, always choosing books that celebrated diversity and courage. These moments, although simple, were instrumental in shaping who he was. Each memory brought with it a deep sense of gratitude for Helena, who always went out of her way to ensure he felt loved and valued. As he continued to look at the photograph, Samuel began to reflect on his journey of growth. He thought about the difficulties he faced, from the curious stares to the insensitive comments about his racial identity. He remembered how, at times, he felt isolated and different, trying to understand where he fit in the world. However, he also recognized that these challenges had strengthened him and helped him develop a deep understanding of himself and the world around him. The photograph also brought to light the importance of Helena's support in her life. Samuel always knew that, no matter what happened, Helena was there to support him. Not only did she love him unconditionally, but she also fought to educate and protect her son. She had been a tireless advocate, ensuring that Samuel had access to positive role models and a rich, diverse education. Samuel knew that, without Helena's support, his journey would have been much more difficult. Furthermore, the image caused Samuel to consider how much he had grown as a person. He reflected on the achievements he had achieved, both academic and personal. From participating in extracurricular activities to excelling in his studies, Samuel was proud of what he had accomplished. He also knew that his path to success was largely due to the loving and encouraging environment that Helena created for him. The photograph symbolized not only his past, but also the promising future he was building. While looking at the photo, Samuel also thought about the importance of cultural identity in his life. He remembered how Helena always made a point of including him in cultural activities that celebrated his Afro-descendant roots. These experiences helped Samuel build a strong, positive identity, full of pride in his heritage. He knew that this cultural foundation was a crucial part of who he was and would continue to be an important aspect of his life as he grew up. The photograph was, for Samuel, a tangible representation of Helena's love and dedication. She was a reminder that, despite all the difficulties, he always had a home full of love and understanding. Helena had taught Samuel the importance of being true to yourself and never letting the prejudices of others define your worth. Now, looking at the photograph, Samuel felt more prepared than ever to face the challenges of the future, armed with his mother's unconditional love and confidence in his own identity. Finally, Samuel decided to frame the photograph and place it in his room. For him, the image was a symbol of his journey and the unwavering love he and Helena shared. She represented the ups and downs, the laughter and the tears, and everything that shaped them over the years. Samuel knew that, with Helena by his side, he could face anything. The photograph was a constant reminder that he was loved, valued, and that no matter what the future held, he would always have a home in Helena's heart. That night, after finding the photograph, Samuel felt an urgent need to talk to Helena about the feelings that were flooding him. He went downstairs and found Helena in the living room, reading a book. With a warm smile, she looked at him, and Samuel knew this was the perfect time for a heart-to-heart. He sat down next to her, holding the photograph carefully, and began to talk about how the image had awakened so many memories and emotions. Helena, realizing the importance of the moment, closed the book and gave all her attention to Samuel. He began to express his gratitude for everything Helena had done for him over the years. He talked about how, since he was little, he always felt loved and protected, even when the outside world seemed confusing and, at times, hostile. Samuel remembered how Helena was always by his side, supporting him on his school adventures, helping him understand his identity, and offering a home full of love. The conversation deepened when Samuel began sharing the challenges he faced regarding his racial identity. He told Helena about the times he felt different or excluded, and how this affected him emotionally. However, he also highlighted that, despite these challenges, he always knew he could count on Helena's unconditional support. This certainty helped him develop a confidence that sustained him through difficult times. Samuel thanked Helena for always being willing to discuss these issues openly, without judgment. Helena listened attentively, feeling a mixture of pride and emotion. She knew their journey together hadn't been easy, but watching Samuel grow into a self-assured young man filled her with joy. She talked about how she herself had to learn and grow along the way, facing her own unconscious biases and educating herself about racial and cultural issues. Helena expressed that, for her, adopting Samuel was not just an act of love, but a journey of self-knowledge and transformation. As they chatted, Samuel also shared some of his favorite memories. He talked about the walks in the park, the nights of bedtime stories, and the summer adventures they shared. Each memory was intertwined with laughter and teachable moments. He mentioned how these experiences not only helped him feel loved but also taught him important values such as empathy, respect, and courage. The conversation also turned to the future. Samuel spoke about his aspirations and dreams, highlighting Helena's role as a motivating force in his life. He expressed a desire to give back in some way, perhaps through work that made a difference in other people's lives, just as Helena did in his. Helena, in turn, encouraged Samuel to follow his dreams and assured him that no matter what path he chose, she would always be there to support him. Helena and Samuel also addressed the difficulties they faced, such as discrimination and prejudice. They discussed how these challenges were painful, but also how they served to strengthen and bring them closer together. Helena reassured Samuel that he should never let the negative opinions of others define his worth. They agreed that despite the difficulties, each experience was an opportunity to learn and grow. The conversation ended on a note of hope and gratitude. Samuel, moved, thanked Helena once again for everything she did and for being the mother he needed. Helena, with tears in her eyes, hugged Samuel, reaffirming the unconditional love she felt for him. They both knew that despite the challenges they might still face, they had each other. The photograph, now framed and placed in a special place, would be a constant reminder of the strength of their connection and the beauty of their journey together. After the conversation with Helena, Samuel felt a growing curiosity about his biological roots. Although he always felt loved and supported by Helena, there was a part of his story that remained a mystery. Determined to better understand his cultural heritage and discover more about his origins, Samuel began to explore the possibility of finding information about his biological family. He knew this journey could be emotionally challenging, but he was prepared to face whatever came, with Helena's support. Helena, always the unconditional supporter, welcomed Samuel's decision with understanding and encouragement. She knew that for many adoptees, knowing their origins is a crucial part of building a complete identity. Helena committed to helping Samuel in his search, assuring him that no matter what they discovered, he would always have a safe and loving place by his side. Together, they began investigating adoption documents and looking for clues about Samuel's biological family. The process was not easy. The information available was limited, and they often encountered bureaucratic barriers or lack of records. However, Helena and Samuel persevered, consulting adoption agencies and genealogy experts, and even participating in support groups for adoptees and their families. These connections not only provided valuable information, but also offered emotional support during the search. During this journey, Samuel had the opportunity to reflect on what finding his roots meant to him. He realized that while it was important for him to understand his biological heritage, the bond with Helena and the life they built together were equally fundamental to his identity. Samuel did not see this quest as an attempt to replace or minimize Helena's importance in his life, but as a means of completing his understanding of who he was. Helena, in turn, faced her own emotional challenges during this process. She knew that Samuel might discover information that would connect him to a new family, and this brought up feelings of insecurity and fear of losing the special place she had in Samuel's heart. However, she never allowed these feelings to interfere with the support she offered Samuel. Helena knew this was a necessary journey for Samuel's growth and understanding, and she was determined to be by his side every step of the way. Eventually, Samuel's search led to some discoveries about his birth family. They managed to find information about their biological parents and some relatives, revealing a rich cultural heritage and a family history full of challenges and resilience. This discovery brought a mix of emotions to Samuel, including joy, curiosity, and even sadness for not having known about this part of his life sooner. With the new information, Samuel began to explore his cultural heritage more deeply. He engaged in activities that celebrated his roots, from learning about traditional cuisine to studying the history and contributions of his ethnic community. This journey of discovery was transformative for Samuel, helping him integrate all parts of his identity and feel a sense of completeness. He felt more connected to himself and his origins, which strengthened him even more. Ultimately, the exploration of Samuel's past was not just a search for information, but a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Helena and Samuel emerged from this experience with an even stronger bond, solidified by mutual understanding and respect for the complexities of their identities. They learned that true family goes beyond blood and that love and support are the most important foundations of any relationship. The story of Samuel and Helena is a testimony to the strength of love and the courage needed to face the unknown, always with the certainty that, regardless of what happens, they will always have each other. After the intense journey of discovering their biological roots, Samuel and Helena reached a moment of reflection and a deeper understanding of their identities and life experiences. Samuel, who had previously felt a gap in his personal understanding, now had a more complete picture of who he was. Discovering her roots and understanding her cultural heritage gave her a sense of peace and belonging. He understood that his identity was a complex and rich tapestry, woven by his life experiences with Helena and the stories of his biological family. Samuel and Helena began to dedicate time to discussing these discoveries and their implications. Helena expressed her happiness at seeing Samuel embrace all parts of his identity. She always knew that knowledge of her origins was crucial to Samuel's well-being, and she was grateful that he had found this piece of the puzzle of his life. Samuel, in turn, felt a deep gratitude for Helena, not only for her support during the search, but also for providing a home where he always felt safe and loved. During these conversations, Samuel and Helena explored how the transracial adoption experience had shaped their lives. They recognized the unique challenges they faced, including external biases and internal questions about identity. However, they both agreed that these challenges also brought valuable lessons and strengthened their bond. Samuel shared how, over time, he learned to navigate the complexity of his racial and cultural identity, finding pride and strength in his heritage. Helena also reflected on her journey as an adoptive mother of a black son. She talked about the efforts she made to educate herself and Samuel about issues of race and culture, and how it made her more aware and empathetic. Helena knew that despite not sharing the same skin color as Samuel, she had a responsibility to ensure he grew up with a healthy and positive understanding of his identity. This responsibility, although challenging, has also been a source of personal growth for her. Through these discussions, Samuel and Helena came to a shared understanding that family is defined by love, not just biology or skin color. Samuel recognized that although it was important to know his biological roots, his true family would always be Helena, who was by his side every step of the way. Helena also expressed that, regardless of the discoveries about Samuel's past, he will always be her son, and nothing would change the love she feels for him. This reconciliation with their identities allowed Samuel and Helena to embrace a more complete and integrated view of themselves. Samuel found comfort in knowing that he didn't have to choose between his biological family and Helena. He could value and honor both parts of his life. This acceptance freed him from any doubt or insecurity about his identity, allowing him to focus on the future with confidence and hope. From that point on, Samuel and Helena committed to continuing to celebrate all facets of their identity. They decided to maintain a connection to Samuel's cultural traditions, while also valuing the family traditions they had created together. This balanced approach allowed them both to feel complete and authentic in their lives. Ultimately, Samuel and Helena's journey is a testament to the resilience and power of unconditional love. They showed that despite differences and challenges, what really matters is love, support, and mutual understanding. With this new understanding and acceptance, Samuel and Helena looked to the future with a renewed sense of purpose and togetherness, ready to face whatever life threw at them, knowing they would always have each other. Over the years, Samuel and Helena continued to build their lives together, supported by the strong and loving bond they always shared. The journey they began years ago, marked by challenges and discoveries, had strengthened their relationship in profound and unshakable ways. Samuel, now a young adult, felt completely secure in his complex and rich identity, thanks to Helena's unconditional love and support. They celebrated the life they had built together, filled with moments of joy and overcoming. Helena continued to be a constant and encouraging presence in Samuel's life, supporting him in all his endeavors, from his studies to his professional projects. She felt immense pride in seeing him grow into a confident, compassionate young man who understood the value of acceptance, and respect for differences. Samuel, inspired by his experiences, decided to use his story to help others facing similar situations. He became involved in organizations that supported transracial adoption and multiracial families, sharing his own journey to inspire and educate others. Samuel knew his experience could offer comfort and guidance to many who were dealing with questions of identity and belonging. At speeches and community events, Samuel spoke openly about the challenges and rewards of growing up in a transracial family. He emphasized the importance of open dialogue, ongoing education, and empathy. Samuel firmly believed that understanding and love could overcome cultural and racial barriers, creating a more inclusive and welcoming world. His message was one of hope and resilience, and he always credited Helena with showing him the true meaning of unconditional love. Helena, in turn, was moved to see Samuel blossom and find his voice. She knew that despite the challenges they faced, the love and support they offered each other were critical to Samuel's success and happiness. Helena continued to be actively involved in causes that supported diversity and inclusion, making a point of continuing to learn and grow as a person and mother. She felt deep gratitude for everything Samuel taught her about love, resilience, and the power of acceptance. The relationship between Samuel and Helena also served as a powerful example for the community around them. Many people were inspired by her story and began to question and expand their own perspectives on family and identity. Helena and Samuel have become active advocates for the importance of a supportive and loving environment for the healthy development of all children, regardless of their background or skin color. As Samuel progressed in his life, he continued to maintain a close bond with Helena. They celebrated achievements together and faced difficulties as a team. Their bond was a testament to the transformative power of love and acceptance. Each challenge overcome and each victory achieved only reinforced the unbreakable bond that united them. The legacy of love that Helena created and that Samuel perpetuated became a beacon of hope for many. They showed that, with love and understanding, it is possible to build a strong and resilient family, capable of facing any adversity. Samuel and Helena knew that the true meaning of family was rooted in unconditional love, acceptance, and mutual support. This message, which they took to the world, would continue to inspire and guide many others on their own journeys of discovery and acceptance. And so, Samuel and Helena moved forward, united by an indestructible bond, ready to face the future with courage and determination. They knew that together they could overcome any obstacle and that, above all, the love they shared was the greatest strength in their lives. This story of love, resilience, and identity has become an eternal reminder that, with love and support, all things are possible.